Hi, I'm Dave from Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, and we are out today on the ice here in central Montana, and we're going to attempt to fish for perch. We want to show you hopefully how easy and simple the gear and the techniques are, and encourage you to go out and try this on your own. Of course, before we started out here today, we checked the ice near shore and also where we're fishing. We have 10 inches of really good clear ice, and even though the ice is talking and popping and cracking to us, we know we're safe, and that's always the most important thing before we start fishing. The equipment we're going to use when we fish for perch today couldn't be much more simple. Short little ice fishing rod and reel, lightweight line, a small lure on the end. In this case, it's a jig of some sort, whatever kind you prefer, or ask around at the sport shops where you're going to fish, or ask the other people who are out on the ice. We're going to put a couple of maggots on here, and we'll use those as our bait. Other people have used worms. Maggots are kind of a good universal bait though in the winter. Again, it's going to be pretty simple. We've got our lure and tipped with some maggots on there. We're going to drop that down the hole. The nice thing, for me at least, about perch is we don't have to wonder where they are. Are they near the ice? Are they in the middle? Or are they way down by the bottom? Generally, 99% of the time I found perch are going to be right next to the bottom, within a foot. So my bait needs to be within a foot of the bottom. These perch are cold-blooded. It's cold water. They're not interested in moving very far for a meal in the winter. We want to be within a foot of the bottom, but we don't want to be touching the bottom. Perch generally aren't going to eat it if it's resting on the bottom, just like you wouldn't eat your hamburger if it fell on the floor. So how do we know when we're within a foot of the bottom? So we let the bait go all the way down the hole when no more line is coming out. When the line is totally, completely slack, I know my bait's right on the bottom. Then it's just a matter of closing the bail, reeling up until the line goes tight, and maybe giving it a half a turn or so, and I know my bait will be right next to the bottom. Because perch are predators. They eat live things, so movement's not going to scare them. Perch expect their food to be alive and be moving. So it's okay to move it a little bit. We don't want it moving 3 feet up and down. They're not used to that. But a little movement kind of gets their attention, maybe draws them in close to check out the bait, see what that is that's moving over there. In order to detect a bite, which is the important part that gives people a hard time sometimes, is we need to watch the end of the rod. And when we see that end of the rod bounce or tap on its own, that means a fish is doing it, not me. And my response has to be really quick. Those fish can eat that bait and spit it out so fast. So as soon as I see that move, I got to be ready, and I go, okay, there's a bite. And I set the hook, and that's what we call it. We say we set the hook, and that's by jerking the rod really fast, really hard, and pulling the hook into the fish's mouth. We've done the basics, so now we're going to move around a little bit and see if we can find some perch that are hungry enough to cooperate. So we're going to wait for a bite. Watch the end of the rod when it bounces the tiniest little bit. We're going to set the hook fast and as hard as we possibly can, even though we know the fish in here are not very big. Whoa! Good thing this one didn't pull me down the hole. Fish like this. But this is our yellow perch. Sharp little dorsal fin on his back. Gill covers are a little bit sharp, so just be careful where you grab them. Take the fish like this to unhook it. It's real simple. Give him a little kiss. Send him back down the hole. Thanks for joining us out on the ice here today. Hopefully we showed you that it's not very difficult. It doesn't take a lot of fancy equipment to come out and fish for perch. And we've given you a little bit of incentive to get outside in this nice winter weather and do that. You can find more information on ice fishing and all the regulations on FWP's webpage. And we hope you'll go outside and fish MT.